All right, everyone. Today I'm going to talk about my top 5 reasons why I am not a fan of 529 plans for college. Before I do that, like and subscribe to this video. I'd be forever grateful if you did. So, first, I want to talk about the limited investment options. So when you sign up for a 529 plan, you're going to get between 10 and 30 funds that you can pick from. Just going to be dependent on the plan. But if you, let's say you're in a California plan and you read about something like that the Virginia plan has a cool fund or something you want to be in, you can't add that to California's plan. Like California, you're locked in. Like you have a certain set of funds. So you will have to move your 529 account over to Virginia. And it doesn't matter what state you live in. You can do that. You can do it one time a year. But again, like your investment options will always be limited. Like you're not going to be able to invest in single stocks. You're not going to be able to invest in other ETFs or mutual funds that you like that are not included in that plan. So just be aware of that. Next, more expensive funds. So the best way I can compare this is I would tell you to go look at Vanguard, go look at the Total Stock Market Index, which is VTSAX, and then go to Nevada's 529 plan, which is a Vanguard plan, and look for the total US stock market there. What you will see is it'll be about 0.1% more expensive every year. And you're also going to have plans that will charge you state administrative fees and other things like that. So just be aware that there are generally more expensive funds in these plans, and there will also be potentially other administrative fees on top of that. So just be aware of that. The tax savings is limited unless you front load it. Now, what do I mean by front loading? So when I talk about front loading, you're allowed to let me say this, you're allowed to give somebody $15,000 a year with no gift tax consequences. You don't have to worry about it. In a 529, you can put up to 5 times that when you first open the account up. You do have to file a gift tax return if you do that, but that is how you're going to get the maximum bang for the buck on tax savings, is that you put that money in right away and let it grow for until they're 18. You have to do that. If you're just putting in $50 a month or $100 or $200 a month, your tax savings are not going to be as much as you think. And I do plan on doing a separate video kind of walking through the math. I just have to sit down and kind of model it through in my head. But I do know that the savings is not as much as what most people think. And that leads me to point number 4. And this is a crucial point, and they're both interrelated. So what happens if your child doesn't go to college? What happens if they want to go to trade school? What happens if they go start their own business? There could be, there's a million different options now out there. And I don't know, and you don't know what college is going to be like 20 years from now. And so we don't know what the cost is going to be. It can't just keep going up forever. Eventually something has to give. So when that happens, if your child does not go to college, and you have this money, you can give it to another child. Like you can transfer it to another sibling. You can use it yourself if you want to go to school, or you could transfer it to another family member. But let's say, for most people though, they probably want the money. They want the money back. Maybe they're wanting to put it back in their retirement or something. Well, if you do that, you're going to pay income tax on the amount that you earned in that 529 plus a 10% penalty. The 10% penalty goes away if the kid had scholarships, but that income tax could be a big bite. Now let me explain how this works. So if you put $10,000 in a fund, and then 5 years later it's worth $20,000, and then you realize I want to take this money out, what will happen is you're going to pay tax on that $10,000 increase plus an additional $1,000, which represents a 10% penalty. So here's the thing: if you're funding it, you might save taxes if they are able to go to school. But if they don't, you could be owing more taxes than you realize, and you don't want to have that. And then the last thing, Congress can change the rules. They in the new Tax Cuts and Jobs Act back in 2017, they allowed the 529 plans to have more options in terms of you can use it for private education, which is great because it opened it up. You can use it for more things. However, the problem becomes they could change the rules the other way too and make it more restrictive. So if they do that, you might be stuck with money that you can't use, or they could change the definition of what is an allowable expense. They could say that books are no longer a qualified expense, and so that you're going to have to be on your own on those. Or if you use the money for books, well, then you're going to be paying a penalty on that. So I'm just saying, like, the government can change the rules at any time, so you have to be aware of that. And so these are my top 5 reasons. And again, I do plan on doing more videos kind of discussing some of these points in more detail, but I just kind of wanted to give you a quick, bullet point list of what I think, the top 5 reasons are why I don't like 529 plans. And for me, I know people will ask, well, what do you like? Honestly, for me, I love taxable brokerage accounts, just because you have the freedom to pick whatever fund, stock, investment you want. That is my thought. Obviously, talk to your advisor or a professional and consult them and see what's best for you. But again, if you got value out of this video, I would be forever grateful. If you liked it, subscribe. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below.